Welcome to another instalment of Photographic News. What's new and exciting in the photo world? Our first story involves Photokina. Photokina was a biannual trade show in Cologne, Germany for the photographic and cinematic industry. They have announced that beginning in 2018, Photokina will become an annual event. It says it will better reflect the fast-paced and briefer innovation cycles of digital technology. Kind of like what Sony's doing, releasing 3-4 new cameras each year. Additionally, from 2019, Photokina will take place in May instead of the historical September slot. The most immediate impact of these changes is that Photokina 2018 will adopt a shorter, more focused schedule. So in 2018, it will be in September. In 2019, they will change the date to May. September, October, that's only about that many months in between. Not quite a full year. And speaking of Sony has released firmware updates for a whole bunch of its lenses. The 70-200 GM, the 70-200G, the 24-240, 28-70, the 24-70 Zeiss, 50mm f1.8, the 24-70 GM, the 50mm Zeiss, the 85mm GM, and also the LAEA3 adapter. Why? Well, Sony has just released the Sony A9 camera. Why? Well, Sony has just released a new camera, the A9. Beast that shoots 20 frames per second, although there are some drawbacks to that have been reported in the press. These firmware updates will allow these lenses to shoot at 20 frames per second on the Sony A9. The update to the LAEA3 adapter, which is Sony's way of adapting A-mount lenses to E-mount cameras, allows continuous autofocus up to 10 frames per second when used with the A9. Not quite the 20, but then again it's not native lenses. You'll only get 20 frames per second with the Sony's native lenses, E-mount lenses. And again, keeping with the Sony theme, Adobe has updated Lightroom and Adobe Camera Raw to support the A9. The updates for Camera Raw and Adobe CC Lightroom bring support for the Sony Alpha 9 and the Panasonic ZS70 and TZ90 cameras. They also add some bug fixes for several Fujifilm and Hasselblad cameras. If you have Adobe CC installed, chances are you're going to get prompted for an automatic update anyway. Big news for drone owners. If you're a drone owner and you're not using your drone for commercial purposes, you no longer have to register your drone with the FAA. Previously, any drone over £0.5 had to be registered with the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA. A lawsuit was filed against the Federal Aviation Administration and was won by an aircraft enthusiast named John Taylor, who filed it in January 2016. The FAA's registration rule violates Section 336 of the FAA Modernisation and Reform Act. We grant Taylor's petition for review of the registration rule, and we vacate the registration rule to the extent it applies to model aircraft. The ruling basically states that the mandatory registration of drones violates a law called the FAA Modernisation and Reform Act that Congress passed in 2012, which prohibits the FAA from passing rules on the operation of model aircraft. Over 820,000 people have registered their drones since the FAA database was announced. Basically because you had to, it was mandatory. If you're a photographer planning to fly your camera drone for personal reasons, not commercial, you're now exempt from registering your drone. To be honest, the FAA registration wasn't that bad. You paid $5, you registered your drone, it was good for 2 years. with the prevalence of drones now, not just in America but worldwide, and people abusing rules, it really actually wasn't that onerous. But you have a lot of people that just don't trust the government in any shape, way or form. Now, in relation to the previous article, DJI has confirmed that there will be a firmware update for all of its drones. The firmware update is basically an application activation process. This is a new step to take effect at the end of this week, i.e. you've got just a couple of days, which ensures you will use your aircraft in the correct set of geospatial information and flight functions for your drone, as determined by your geographic location and user profile. All existing flight safety limitations such as geofencing boundaries and altitude limits will remain the same. Even if you have registered your aircraft or your drone upon purchase, you'll still need to log in once you update to the new version of DJI Go, the Go 4 app, and there'll probably be a firmware update for the drone itself. If you don't log in and register your drone through the app, your drone will now be limited to a 50 metre, 164 foot radius and will only fly up to 98 feet or 38 metres high. This applies to all DJI aircraft. Basically what DJI are doing is they're enforcing geofencing to make sure that the drones that you fly stay within FAA regulations, FAA guidelines. You won't be able to fly your drone over 400 feet, for example, 400 feet high. You won't be able to fly within certain areas, national parks, anywhere near a military base, within 5 miles of an airport. DJI is now taking control, essentially, of these guidelines and enforcing them through the software app. And into the rumour mill. Canon Rumours is reporting that Canon will announce the EOS Rebel SL2 in July, with shipment starting in September. They report that the specifications of the Rebel SL2 will be relatively similar to the EOS 77D, one of, I think it was Canon's last camera release. However, the next Canon camera to be announced will be the EOS 6D Mark II, which they're saying is also being announced in July. Now, whether Canon announced both the Rebel SL2 and the EOS 6D Mark II on the same day, they don't know. It would seem doubtful. Canon generally doesn't do that kind of thing, but who knows. And finally, news that I'm excited about anyway. DJI has unveiled the Spark Mini Drone. This is an entry-level product aimed at casual users and enthusiasts. It's capable of 1080p HD video, features a 2-axis gimbal and uses a 0.3 12 megapixel CMOS sensor. It's the size of a soda can and the unit weighs only 300 grams. It's absolutely tiny. Despite its small footprint, the Spark can fly up to 50 kph and offers 100 meters range, that's 330 feet, when controlled by a smartphone. It also has 16-minute flight time, which in something that small is really quite amazing. Other highlights include multiple sensors for accident avoidance, gesture control, micro USB charging, and it also features DJI's intelligent flight modes. Unit can be controlled via hand gestures alone. You don't actually need your phone or a controller to control a drone. A new feature set called QuickShot shoots 1 minute of footage and automatically edits it down to 10 seconds for sharing on social media. When using the QuickShot feature, Spark offers 4 different automatic flight patterns. One of them, called the Helix, sends the drone spiraling upwards and away from you. Spark also features a new panorama mode and a shallow focus mode, a bokeh mode. It comes in 5 colours, white, blue, green, red and yellow. This obviously is more of a mass market consumer drone. Most people don't really care what the colour of their drone is. But anyway, there'll be an accessory package sold alongside the Spark, which includes a physical controller, very similar to the DJI Mavic controller, an extra battery, propeller guards and a charging hub, and will cost an extra $200. The DJI Spark is coming in at a mere $500. For something that can take off and land in your hand, 1080p 2-axis gimbal, and has obstacle avoidance built into it. It's a 3D infrared system that it uses. That's a lot of bang for your buck. It's something so small you can literally just put it in your coat pocket. It's tiny, even compared to the Mavic, which was very small. If you're interested in one of these drones, you can pre-order one at the DJI store, which is store.dji.com, or one of its 4 flagship stores, none of which are in the south, unfortunately. Spark pre-orders will start shipping in mid-June. And there you have it. That's this week's news roundup. I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for more news next week.